Hi, my name is Allison Schmitt. I'm an assistant professor of law here at Oregon Law, and this year I'll be teaching civil procedure, health law, and patent law.
Will you give us a brief summary of who you are and where you're from?
I'm a native Northwesterner. I grew up about an hour east of Seattle, but I actually spent a lot of time down in Eugene as a kid. I came here for many years to summer camp. I actually remember running around the old Hayward field before things got renovated. It looks a little different these days. There's been a lot of improvements on the campus. I studied biochemistry and chemistry at the University of Washington. I then did a PhD in chemistry at Duke. Got really interested in how science and law interface. Ended up going to law school at the University of California, Berkeley. Wandered out into the world. Had a wonderful set of experiences working for federal judges, practicing in private practice, and then most recently coming back to Berkeley to be the inaugural director of the Life Sciences Law and Policy Center at the University of California, Berkeley's Berkeley Center for Law and Technology.
What drew you to Oregon Law?
There is a wonderful community here, and I think that it is evident when you walk in the building. It is evident when you talk to the faculty, the staff, and the students. I was incredibly impressed when I had the opportunity to visit here and really thought that this would be a wonderful place to be a teacher, to be a scholar, and to serve with my fellow faculty members.
Tell me about your area of expertise and what's exciting, interesting, and/or concerning in this field right now.
I'm very much interested in the intersection of science and law. I'm interested in how innovation happens, especially complex innovations, complex medical technologies. Artificial intelligence has been something I've spent a lot of time thinking about in recent years. I want to understand how we develop that technology, how do we best foster that technology, and really put it in a position to help people. How do we bring it to market? How do we get it in the hands of people who could really use it? And so that requires a knowledge of science and a willingness to learn more about science. Being curious is a big part of what I do, but I also get to merge that with thinking about the law, and so thinking about regulation, thinking about our courts, thinking about how intellectual property can help or sometimes hinder this type of innovation. In terms of what's interesting or exciting in the field right now, what isn't in many ways? We're in a really fast evolving administrative landscape that is directly impacting how this innovation is coming forward. From universities to how the FDA is evolving, to how we're even thinking about what patents might look like going forward. I think we're really in a time of flux. So it's a very exciting time to be a scholar in this field, getting to dig into these issues and think about how can we best bring innovation forward.
How did you become interested in intellectual property and its intersection with health?
I think a lot of principal investigators, a lot of scientists these days are thinking about what could my startup be, or how can I move the ball forward in terms of advancing my invention. And so I encountered a lot of that. Certainly as a science student, I encounter a ton of it now that I'm a practicing lawyer and that I've been engaged in the space. It's such an interesting intersection because you get to think about the science, but you're also getting to think about these interesting legal regimes that really shape how you can bring the science forward.
If you could be a track and field athlete, what event would you want to compete in and why?
I was a distance runner, and I still really enjoy the distance events. So I think that there's probably something similar between that and the law in terms of your ability to work hard and sometimes push through pain. I think even these days, I watch a lot of track and field. I've watched events at Hayward Field in recent years. I really like watching the distance events. I like the strategy. I like thinking about, the amount of work that you have to put into it, but really, being able to figure out how to successfully run a race in those ways. I remember doing it when I was younger, and it's tough, but it's really satisfying when you can put it all together.